Welcome to today's deep dive. If you are joining us right now, it means you have an appetite for discovery.
You definitely do.
And we have a truly fascinating journey lined up for you today.
We really do.
Today, we are stepping into the metaphysical world of crystals, but we aren't doing a broad, vague overview of 50 different stones.
Right. No listicles today.
Exactly. We are zooming in on one highly specific, visually striking stone. It's known as Panda Agate.
Panda Agate, yes.
And our mission today is to take a comprehensive guide provided by Crystals by Rob.
Which is a fantastic source, by the way.
It is. It breaks down the emotional, spiritual, energetic, and practical properties of this unique stone. And we are going to distill the most impactful insights for you.
It is a really profound topic to explore because what we are looking at today goes far beyond simple geology.
Right.
Or just collecting pretty rocks to put on a shelf. The material presents Panda Agate not just as a metaphysical tool, but as a literal, tangible representation of balance.
Balance is the key word there.
It is. It forces us to look at duality. Specifically, the harmony between our light and shadow selves.
Well, the first thing you notice about Panda Agate is the visual, which is exactly how it gets its name.
Yeah, you can't miss it.
It has this distinct, contrasting black and white banding. It literally looks like the markings of a panda.
It really does.
But let's unpack this, because that visual isn't just a fun coincidence. It is essentially a metaphor for emotional alchemy.
That is the core theme here. What I found so compelling in the guide is how those contrasting black and white colors are linked directly to the concept of emotional duality in your daily life.
Think about it. We all have moments of brilliant light.
Joy, peace, generosity.
But we all have shadow moments too. Anger, fear, profound sadness, or jealousy.
And usually, society tells us to hide one and project the other.
Always project the light.
Always. But Panda Agate acts as a mirror for the complete human experience. Instead of telling you to banish the dark and only focus on the light, this stone encourages you to acknowledge it.
To accept it.
Yes, to accept and actually harmonize those opposing feelings. It is about reaching a state the guide refers to as emotional neutrality.
Hold on, clarify that for me.
Sure.
Emotional neutrality. Because so often, especially in the modern wellness space, the message is essentially good vibes only.
Oh, absolutely. The toxic positivity trend.
Right. It is all about being positive and banishing the negative. So how does emotional neutrality differ from just flattening out your feelings or ignoring the bad stuff?
That is a crucial distinction. Emotional neutrality is not about flatlining your emotions.
Okay.
Or pretending you don't feel anger or sadness. The goal isn't to feel nothing. Instead, it is the ability to observe your heavy emotions without being completely consumed by them.
Observing, not absorbing.
Exactly. Think of that forced good vibes only mentality you mentioned. It usually requires you to suppress your shadow self.
And suppressed emotions don't just disappear.
Never. They just wait to explode later.
Yeah.
The emotional neutrality, as fostered by this stone, allows you to process your emotions thoughtfully rather than reactively. It softens the emotional overwhelm by helping you make peace with the conflict inside you.
That makes a lot of sense, especially when you think about the concept of shadow work, which the material brings up.
Yes, shadow work is a major component here.
For those who might be new to that term, shadow work is essentially the practice of looking at the hidden, perhaps darker or less socially acceptable parts of our personality.
The parts we usually try to repress.
Right, like our insecurities, our petty jealousies, our rage, and bringing them into the light so we can actually heal them.
Precisely. And that kind of work can be terrifying.
Oh, it's incredibly uncomfortable.
When you start digging into your shadow, it is easy to feel ashamed or overwhelmed. Panda Agate is described as a deeply soothing companion for that exact process.
Because of that stabilizing effect.
Exactly. It stabilizes the mood swings and calms the inner conflict that arises when you confront those uncomfortable truths about yourself. It fosters emotional maturity and self-compassion.
There is a line in the research that completely reframed this for me.
Which one?
It notes that Panda Agate reinforces the idea that all emotions, both light and heavy, have value and purpose.
Yes, that is so important.
Your heavy emotions aren't failures. They aren't something to be fixed. They have a job to do.
They're simply data.
Exactly. And that brings us to the how of it all. We know what it is aiming for. Balance, neutrality, accepting the shadow.
Right.
But how does the stone actually function on an energetic level to get you there? The guide uses a phrase I want to examine. It says it promotes steady, rhythmic energy flow rather than sudden surges.
If we connect this to the bigger picture of our modern lives, that phrase is critical. Think about what a sudden surge of energy feels like.
The panic of a sudden deadline?
Yes, or the spike of adrenaline when you are doom scrolling through negative news.
Oh, the doom scrolling is the worst for that.
Or the overwhelming flood of anxiety when you walk into a room full of stressed out people.
Mm.
If you are a highly sensitive soul, you are constantly absorbing these jarring spikes in energy.
Oh, absolutely. If you are someone who absorbs everyone else's stress, say you walk into a crowded office and immediately feel exhausted, you don't need another surge of energy.
No, you definitely don't.
You need a filter.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that is where the steady, rhythmic energy flow comes in. The guide explains that Panda Agate acts as an energetic anchor.
An anchor.
Rather than hyping you up, it draws excess, chaotic energy downward to create a sense of calm and equilibrium. It works slowly and consistently.
Creating a boundary.
Yes, a calm, energetic boundary that filters out those external influences, allowing you to remain centered.
An anchor is such a perfect visual for this. When you feel like your energy is just scattered to the wind, pulling you in 50 directions at once, you need something heavy to pull that frantic, nervous tension down.
And this applies to spiritual practices too.
How so?
Well, the material notes this stone is essential if you are doing meditation, intuitive work, or navigating a time of major transition. It creates a feeling of safety and energetic containment.
So it keeps you from floating away, essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this leads to one of the most profound realizations in the guide regarding spiritual growth. Today, spiritual growth is often marketed as this explosive, sudden awakening.
Right, a massive paradigm shift that completely upends your life.
Yes, but Panda Agate teaches that spiritual growth doesn't have to be destabilizing. By grounding higher wisdom into everyday life, it prevents spiritual overwhelm.
It makes it manageable.
It makes insight safe, balanced, and most importantly, sustainable for the long term.
That is fascinating. But wait, I'm trying to wrap my head around the mechanics of how it actually achieves this grounding effect across the body's energy centers.
Let's look at the chakras.
Yes, the guide goes into great detail about chakra alignment. It notes that Panda Agate primarily resonates with the root chakra, which in Sanskrit is called the Muladhara.
The foundation.
Right. The root chakra is located at the base of the spine, and it is all about your foundation. It is your sense of safety, your stability, your physical grounding in your environment.
Strengthening the root chakra provides a solid energetic foundation. If you are feeling ungrounded, maybe you are anxious, forgetful, or totally disconnected from your physical body because you are living entirely in your head, focusing on the root helps anchor that scattered energy back into the earth.
But the stone doesn't stop there, and that is the brilliant twist here.
It really is.
While it is deeply grounding in nature, it also gently resonates with the crown chakra, the Sahasrara, located at the top of the head.
No, that is unusual.
Okay, let me challenge that for a second. Usually when you look at crystal healing, you use a dense, heavy, dark stone for grounding the root.
Right, like black tourmaline or obsidian.
Exactly. And then you use a clear, light, ethereal stone for opening the crown, like clear quartz or amethyst.
Typically, yes.
So how does one single stone do both without those contrasting energies just canceling each other out or short-circuiting?
It is a great question, and it goes right back to the visual of the stone itself.
Yeah.
The black and the white working together rather than competing. The crown chakra is our connection to higher guidance and spiritual awareness. If you only focus on the crown, you risk floating away into the ether, becoming detached from reality.
Like we said earlier, being ungrounded.
Right. But if you only focus on the root, you can become stuck in the mud, overly rigid or materialistic. Panda Agate acts as a harmonizer across the entire system.
So it blends them.
It allows higher guidance to flow smoothly from the crown down into everyday, earthly consciousness at the root.
It creates a root to crown connection, a bridge between earthly grit and higher consciousness.
That is quite the resume for one stone.
It really is. And this is actually the perfect time to dive into a section of Rob's guide that truly brings this duality to life.
The associations.
Yes, the source provides these extensive lists of historical lore, animal associations, and botanical correspondences connected to the root versus the crown aspects of this stone.
And they are so wildly different.
Instead of just reading these lists like a spreadsheet, let's look at the extremes here because the contrast is staggering. Let's start with the animals.
The animal associations perfectly illustrate the energetic split we are talking about. For the root aspect of the stone, the animals listed are the cow, the bull, the horse, the ant, the bear, the wolf, and the dog.
Think about the bear for a second.
A very heavy energy.
Yes, a bear hibernates. It literally digs a den deep into the earth and sleeps in the dark for months. It is incredibly heavy, dense, and slow-moving. It is pure, grounded, earthly energy.
Exactly.
Now, compare that to the animals associated with the crown aspect of the exact same stone: the eagle, the raven, and the spider.
It is a massive energetic shift. We go from heavy mammals to creatures of the air.
The spider is fascinating to me.
The spider is a perfect example of crown energy. Think about it. A creature that sits high up, weaving an intricate, delicate, almost invisible web out of itself.
It is pure ethereal creation.
Yes, the fact that this one stone embodies both the weight of the hibernating bear and the intricate airiness of the spider is what makes it so unique.
And you see this exact same extreme contrast in the elemental and planetary associations. The root is tied to the element of Earth naturally.
Along with Saturn and Mars.
Right. These are heavy, foundational, driving planets. Saturn is all about structure, discipline, and boundaries.
But flip to the crown aspect, and the elements shift to spirit.
Alongside Jupiter and Uranus.
Planets known for massive expansion, sudden insight, and breaking boundaries. The exact opposite of Saturn.
It really is the ultimate duality. And the spiritual entities associated with the stone follow this exact same pattern.
They do. For the root, the guide lists gods deeply connected to the wild, the harvest, and the soil, like Pan, Dionysus, and Cernunnos.
The earthy gods.
Yes. And the spirits listed are gnomes, dwarfs, trolls, and leprechauns.
Literal cave-dwelling creatures, beings of the dirt and the roots of the world.
Exactly.
But then for the crown aspect, we shift to Archangel Metatron. We have deities like Buddha, Zeus, and Kuan Yin.
And goddesses like Gaia and Juno.
Right. And the spirits listed are sylphs, zephyrs, and fairies of the wind. We are talking about invisible breezes and air spirits compared to a troll living under a rock.
It is night and day.
It really is. And we see it one more time in the botanicals and incense used alongside the stone.
Look at those.
The root botanicals are literally roots. Ashwagandha root, ginger root, turmeric root.
Very warming, very grounding.
And the incense is patchouli and vetiver. If you have ever smelled pure vetiver essential oil, it smells exactly like damp, rich soil after a rainstorm.
It is heavy and gritty.
Contrast that damp soil with the crown botanicals: gotu-kola, blue lotus, and bacopa.
The incense shifts entirely, too.
It shifts to frankincense and myrrh. Frankincense is this incredibly light, ethereal smoke that has been used for millennia to carry prayers up to the heavens.
So when we synthesize these radically different lists, the true power of Panda Agate becomes clear.
It bridges the gap.
Yes. You need the earthy grit of the gnome to handle the ethereal spirit of the zephyr.
That is a brilliant way to put it.
You cannot have the branches reaching high into the wind without the roots buried deep in the soil. They require each other to remain balanced.
It proves that you do not have to abandon your earthly, physical nature, your messy human reality, to achieve spiritual heights.
They are not mutually exclusive.
So for you listening to this right now, you might be thinking, okay, I am completely sold. I want the bear and the eagle. I want the stability and the insight.
How do you actually get it?
Right. How do you actually use this in your day-to-day life? The source material gives us some incredibly practical applications that do not require you to be a meditation master.
The guide emphasizes its everyday utility above all else.
What's the simplest method?
One of the simplest and most highly recommended methods is carrying it as a pocket stone. Just having it on your person is meant to promote that calm, emotional balance, and grounded awareness as you move through your regular routine.
And if you don't want it in your pocket, wearing it as jewelry is specifically recommended for maintaining steady, protective energy.
This goes right back to that emotional neutrality we talked about earlier.
Let's say you have a meeting with that one unpredictable boss who changes their mind every 5 minutes.
We all know one.
Or you work in an environment where the anxiety is just contagious. Wearing this stone acts as that filter, so you can observe the chaos without absorbing it.
It is also excellent for environmental energy.
Like keeping it on a desk.
Yes. Placing Panda Agate on a desk or in a workspace is recommended to reduce stress, encourage focus, and stabilize the surrounding energy of the room.
You can also keep it in shared spaces in your home to create a peaceful, harmonizing atmosphere.
Which is pretty much essential for any family living room.
Especially around the holidays when everyone's energies are mixing and colliding, right?
Absolutely. The guide also highlights using it during sleep.
Keeping it on your nightstand.
Exactly. It promotes emotional calm and gentle, energetic grounding overnight, so you wake up feeling anchored rather than frantic.
And finally, for those who do want to lean into the deeper psychological work, holding it during journaling or that shadow work we discussed is highly beneficial.
It encourages the emotional honesty and self-acceptance required to look at your heavier aspects without judgment.
This raises an important point about the overall philosophy laid out by Crystals by Rob.
Yes, the long-term approach.
The guide highly values Panda Agate for consistent long-term use rather than occasional intense forced work. It isn't a magical quick fix that is going to instantly erase your anxiety.
It is presented as a dependable, everyday companion for navigating life's inevitable emotional contrasts.
It is about steady, supportive chakra work that promotes long-term energetic stability.
A marathon, not a sprint.
I think that is a beautifully realistic approach to wellness. So let's do a quick recap of the journey we've just been on.
We covered a lot of ground.
We did. We started with the physical look of Panda Agate, that striking black and white visual that serves as a reminder of our own duality.
The balance of light and shadow.
We explored how it represents emotional alchemy, helping us achieve emotional neutrality by observing our shadow selves rather than suppressing our messy, heavy feelings.
We broke down its energetic mechanics, learning how it acts as an anchor to draw down chaotic energy.
Providing a steady, safe rhythm for highly sensitive people. We untangled how it manages to ground the root chakra while simultaneously opening the crown chakra, bridging the gap between earthly reality and spiritual wisdom.
And we saw that massive contrast mirrored in its lore, from the weight of a hibernating bear to the delicate web of a spider.
It is a remarkably comprehensive profile of a single metaphysical tool.
It really is. And as we conclude our deep dive today, I want to leave you with a philosophical concept to ponder, one that builds entirely on the material we've explored.
I love this thought.
If Panda Agate teaches us that true spiritual growth comes from integrating our shadow rather than avoiding it,
Yes.
and that higher consciousness absolutely requires a solid, earthly root.
The bear and the spider.
Exactly. What if the heavy, frustrating emotions you've been trying to suppress or fix are actually the exact grounding anchors you need to safely reach your highest spiritual potential?
Wow.
What if your shadow is the very thing keeping your light from burning out?
That completely changes how I view my own bad days.
It shifts the entire perspective.
Instead of seeing those heavy emotions as a setback, seeing them as the anchor that allows for future growth, that is a profound way to look at it, and a perfect thought to leave our listeners with today.
I agree.
Thank you so much for joining us on this exploration of Panda Agate. Remember to embrace all aspects of yourself, the light and the shadow. Stay curious, and as always, stay balanced. Until next time.